What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 26 of the Rock and Roll Beer Guy podcast. In this episode, I talked to Sky White. He was the keyboardist for the band Foxy Shazam, and now the founder and owner of Wendigo Tea Co. It had been a while since I'd talked to Sky. Our bands played a few shows together back in the day, and it was great to catch up with him. He talks about his new tea company and what got him into that world. We reminisce about being on tour and playing crazy shows together, and we talk about craft beer and music. It was really great reconnecting with him, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please share this with all your friends. Leave reviews on iTunes, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You can also stay up to date with everything if you go to rockandrollbeerguy.com. Cheers.
What's up, dude?
What's up, man? Hold on, let me turn the camera on.
Okay.
There we go.
Hey.
What's up, dude?
Hey. Haven't seen you in years. How you been?
Good, man. Yeah, it's been a long time. I think the last time I saw you was in Miami at the Hole show.
Yeah.
A long time ago, man. How have you been? I see you're doing good things with Wendigo Tea, your new tea company.
Yeah, it's going good. It's fun. Like I told you before, just treating it like a band. So, you know.
Yeah.
You know how that works. You just grind, force it to work, find ways to have it look cool, and then just keep doing it.
For sure. What got you into that world, like tea? I would have never thought.
Well, I went back and listened to a whole bunch of your previous episodes, and
oh man,
and there's a recurring thing of you're traveling all the time and you're going out and you can drink beer, and seeing new places beer is really that really nice thing, and the birth of craft beer.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a really awesome thing for traveling musicians, but then you literally can't just be drinking craft beer all day. So
yeah.
So my tea, most days after sound check, I'd just go and I'd find the best tea in whatever city I was in, and you know us, we were 200 to 300 shows a year for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it was I had experienced, I don't know, 1,200 different teas from around the world, and by the end of all that, I was just done touring for a while, and I was well, what do I know more than most people about? And it was just obviously tea. I knew what the best stuff that was out there, and I knew how to find it, and just started doing it, and had no idea how big I wanted it or anything like that. I was just well, I know I can have the best in the U.S., so I'll just do that. My entire company just revolves around the absurd high grade. So
okay. And do you work with farmers and stuff like that to get certain leaves or fruit or anything like that? How do you gather the tea for yourself?
So a lot of it's tons of online research. I have textbooks, and if someone's writing about oh, there's this small plantation and this way up in the mountains here, I'll find them. I'll find a way to get a hold of them, or find somebody that exports that. And so big part of my job would be so imagine you could just create your own beer brand that is the greatest beer you have been able to taste around the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I'm doing with tea, is that there's just thousands of wonderful things out there with thousands of years of history, and I'm just finding them and bringing them here.
That's awesome.
So yeah, some of it's direct communication with farmers or growers. Some of it's dealing with processors, who actually steams the plant or oxidizes it, and some of it's just dealing with exporters, because not everybody speaks English. So
sure, yeah. That's funny, man. That sounds awesome. Breweries try and it's similar. It's a similar world. You're brewing tea. or it's a thing that you can brew, and we provide it already brewed. I don't know. You're not selling like bottles of tea. You're selling the bags with the.
No, I'm looking into it though, because
Okay.
like right now, like I'm like a one-man business. It's me and my artist. So
Okay.
like all business, I'm doing everything. So I do events where like I'll keg them, and I have a nitro system I bring out with me and pump it out tap.
Nice.
So, or either that, or I bring out a whole bunch of growlers. And I don't know if you've seen the packaging, but it's very obviously like craft beer world inspired.
Sure. Yeah. I have seen it. Yeah. No. I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen out here farmers markets are like a huge deal. So it's pretty much almost every day of the week I can go to a farmers market and there's like little stands and there's occasionally a person that handles like tea out there for that. I think they're Legacy, I think is the name. I'm not sure, but that's like the most I've gotten into tea has been those guys. And that's mostly because of my girl. She loves drinking tea at home, but she's been used to like Lipton and like,
Well, I'll send you a whole bunch of stuff. Blow your mind. Because, like, literally, like, the way I describe it to people is, like, I am the, like, major jump up from, like, common tea culture right now. Like,
Okay.
if you're trying to make the jump from, like, shitty beer to, like, craft beer versus, like, like, Lipton, and then, like, the middle of the road, like, Teavana, whatever stupid stuff you can get out of...
Like Starbucks?
yeah, like... And then, like, my stuff is just absurd. Like, it's a obvious difference. Like, I regularly have people be like, it's like I've never tasted tea before. And I have people be like, well, I don't like tea. I like coffee. And I was like, well, you're not supposed to like tea because all the tea you've drank is garbage. So yeah, it's kind of like, it was like passion project. Like, it was a thing that made me happy. You guys were road dogs too. Like when you're freaking exhausted in the middle of the day, you don't have like a toilet, you don't have a shower, you don't have like your friends, you don't have your family. Like you're missing friends' weddings. Like you're missing all these things that make you into a human being. Yeah. But then like tea was my one nice thing. Like just every day I'd go have like the greatest possible that, and then just 10 years of traveling the world doing that, I just found all these special things. So
that's fantastic, dude. I'm happy for you, man, because honestly, I mean, I recently started doing this podcast thing, but I really, I want to do so many different things. Like I love craft beer, and I've been in that industry for 7 years, but
yeah,
I've also loved coffee. You know what I mean? Like, and I love exploring different coffee beans from different areas of the world, and I do my whole thing here. It's kind of like it takes me an hour to make coffee, which pisses me off because I'm Cuban. I'm used to my espresso, like sugar, thing, and now it takes me like an hour to get proper coffee going.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll import some like weasel poop coffee or like one of the weird ones, just because I'm importing stuff, so I might as well get some cool things in every once in a while.
Yeah, and I mean, you can even, if you have some connections for that, you can even hook up with certain brewers that'll use that, like, well, they'll use your tea, but will also use the coffee, the weasel poop, for their beers and stuff.
Yeah, I keep having conversations over and over with breweries that want to work with me or are interested, and like, I've done a decent amount of home brewing, and I'm okay at it, but I'm not like awesome.
Yeah.
So. Like I did like a Jasmine Pearl Belgian triple that was crazy. It was wildly alcoholic and wildly caffeinated. Like you have like one of them and you're like just in a different world.
Sure.
So like I'm trying to figure out the right way to move forward with that, or the right company to partner with for a co-brand release.
Well, the issue with that is federal regulation and having like uppers and alcohol together is super. It's weird. They're weird about it. Like you can they had a little period of time when we had those Four Locos and the I forget the one that starts with an S. It looked like a Sunkist. I don't even know. Surge. There we go. like they let that happen, but then if you were to make a beer, like a craft beer with some awesome freaking, tea mixed together and it gives you a little bit of an upper, they might be against that because like, no. That's too much.
But then there's like a million people drinking vodka Red Bulls.
Right. It's crazy, man. So you have been homebrewing. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not so much for the last year or so because I'm brewing like, 10, 20, 30 gallons of tea a week for like events and stuff. So like most of my brewing time is going into that.
Very cool. And so do you find these festivals, I mean, I guess that's really the only avenue you may have outside of just online sales, but like you have to do all these festivals and like farmers market deals, right?
I'm trying to do less and less of them. I only do the ones that are like cool, like fun, like I'm surrounded by cool people. And like, honestly, I don't really use it as a source of income. I use it more as like a meet people. Okay. Because like the coolest part of having like a food business is meeting other food businesses. Mm-hmm. Like my least fun thing right now is brewing. Like a couple days ago, I set up next to like a nitro coffee company, and they're phenomenal at brewing and get like a longer shelf life out of their tea than I'm capable of getting. So I'm thinking about just outsourcing all of that to them, so I can focus on, because like brewing is its own art. And you have to spend X amount of money on all the equipment and everything. Or like I would rather just focus on what I do best, is just find the greatest leaves on the planet. So that's kind of my jam right there. Like I am more of a curator of the like weirdest, most special, like the finest teas. So
yeah, I mean that sounds very, it's like an entrepreneur that's what you do. Like you start off your business, but then you're going to have to eventually get some people to do work for you. And then you can keep focusing on making the product more and more interesting instead of like the labor parts of it. Like in brewing, I mean, at Cigar City Brewing, it was Wayne had all his recipes and everything that he had put together, but then like we would have to hire a head brewer to come in and work with him to, just have it do the recipe for him so he can focus on making crazier recipes.
Just continuously make things.
Yeah. Is that because, for example, their IPA was like their best seller, so they needed to brew that 24 hours a day. And I mean, you can't have the head, you can't have Wayne's brewing beer 24 hours a day. He's going to die. So, So I think that's the next step for you, man. That'd be awesome. Just get a team together like that, or just even collaborating with those guys that you were saying that are really good at brewing.
Yeah, just partnerships. Work with people that I think are cool. It's the exact same thing I think about with bands. It's like you tour with bands, you play shows with bands that you think are cool, and like you gain each other's fans, and you each become bigger. And if it works well, you do it again. Like so much about like being a small business is directly correlated to being a band. Like being a band is a small business, but like it always just takes that like certain spark for me to like see the direct correlation between rock and roll and like my food business. Mm-hmm. A couple weeks ago, I went and slept on a recording studio floor in Brooklyn because there's this massive wave of like bars and distilleries that are wanting to be using my stuff out in Brooklyn. So like I'm Cincinnati, so like a huge pocket of interest anywhere. I should just go there. Mm-hmm. Like I'd go sleep on a recording studio floor, wake up, and then like just go out, hand tea off to people and drink with them and see what they're infusing, like whether it's a bar that's infusing with my stuff or like if they just want that one thing on hand, or like walk into a bar and just be like, hey, what's the weirdest thing you have? Like
which is definitely a thing.
Yeah. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like, you seem like the exact kind of guy that if you're walking into a bar and you get a vibe, like, the person back there, they love what they do. Yeah. And, like, if you can get them excited about, like, serving you something crazy, you're going to have the best time. Oh, so, yeah. like that's a regular part of my job, is just, like, walk into bars and, like, get them talking about cool flavors. And if they're that kind of person, I'll bring up my tea company. Be like, look, like I import things that the U.S. has never seen. I I work with bars and restaurants all the time. Like, there's a distillery overlooking the Statue of Liberty called Industry City, like outskirt of Brooklyn, I think. And they're awesome. They're super cool, and they've been making stuff out of my tea that one of my herbal teas, they extracted it and kimchi for like the spiciest, weirdest thing that I have ever tasted. And it was like so sweet, so delicious, it was just special, like a special thing. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I love that stuff, man. That's become my life, thanks to craft beer, really. Just, being in that world of meeting bar owners and meeting restaurant owners and meeting chefs and then meeting, professional brewers and farmers. And, like, it's so interesting to do something with all of that. Like, just everybody collaborates, and that's awesome. I like hearing that.
And like, meeting people that are inspiring to you.
Sure.
Like they're excited about some tiny little thing that you like have maybe heard of once before. Like just the honey guy I work with every once in a while. Like, he rescues the bees out of places that would exterminate them and saves them and takes care of them. And like, he can tell by hearing them how happy they are. And like my bee guy, just like him talking about the bees is like the coolest thing possible.
That's badass. Yeah, man. I'm glad you're doing that type of stuff. I would be into it as well. If that was the direction I took, like right now, this is my direction. You and I talking, and I'm trying to create the product of the show. Like, just, hey, here's some stuff to listen to, But I'm also involved with the beer world, and like what I'm doing with Iron Triangle right now, and I'm mostly focusing on sales, but I just keep throwing like little ideas out, like, hey man, we should do this. Like, that sounds like a great idea. Let's try it. And then we try it, and it's like, oh my god, it's awesome. Like, there we go. And then we just keep it going like that. But it's me meeting with bar owners and stuff like that. Like, hey, and then they'll once you build that relationship, they'll start opening up their world to you, which is super intriguing to me. Like you, right now, listening to you talk about the tea world, that's like really awesome, and I want to know more. I want to go talk to that bee guy too.
Honestly, like, I'd love to have you come down to Cincinnati sometime. We're killing it with breweries right now. Like, awesome. Everybody you've had on the show that I've listened to, always talking about how many breweries are open up right now. But like, we just opened up. I think we have like 126 in Cincinnati now or something.
Jesus.
We just opened up what's called Mad. Do you know Mad Tree at all? You heard of that? I don't know if we've made it all the way over to you yet.
No, I don't think so.
So our two big ones in town are Mad Tree and Rheingeist.
I've heard of Rheingeist.
Like, okay, so Rheingeist does pretty solid distribution. Mad Tree just opened up. I think it's like 3 or 4 football fields large of a like tasting room brewery location.
What? That's huge.
It is so big. It's horrifying. Like, I went there on opening, on like their grand opening of this is their second location, and I think they said they sold enough beer for everyone in Cincinnati between the age of like 20 and 50 to have been served a beer on opening day. They ran out of beer, which was supposed to last like months on the first day.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's like the city's killing it right now, and they're all doing really well. We have like a place that specializes just in sours built into an old church called Urban Artifact. They're super cool, and like they go way out on a limb pretty regularly. So you get some like special things out of them occasionally.
Yeah, if you ever come out here to LA, I can introduce you to a couple people. My buddy Naga has a brewery called Dry River Brewing, and he makes just mostly sour beer, but he just tries to find the craziest things to make the beer with. Like, he made a beer with he calls Sequoia, which is made with like a tree bark.
Oh wow!
And stuff like that. He was making I saw him with some like tea stuff. Like, he had a bunch of flowers and leaves, and then he had spruce and some other things, and he's just trying to combine things that he finds. And if you go to the tasting room, it's all stuff that he found. It's all like, oh, I found this crazy log, so I put it here, and I put, I drilled a hole in it, and now it has a light. Just stuff like that. Yeah. And it's really, really cool. So you need to check that out if you're ever in LA for sure.
Yeah.
Are you doing a lot of travel for the festivals that you were mentioning?
No. Honestly, I'm trying to just do a few of those a month. Like, I started off doing a few more of them, but like my main thing is I want to work with restaurants and bars, and like, cause that's awesome. Like, I go to a restaurant or a bar. Usually they give me free food and or a drink and pay me to drop off a big vacuum sealed bag of leaves that looks super mysterious. So I was living downtown Cincinnati for a while, and I'd be walking like through rough areas of downtown Cincinnati with these like huge, like vacuum sealed, just looks like big bags of drugs.
Nice.
So I miss that. I just moved a little further away, but yeah, it's a pretty fun little job, really.
So what's the end game? Are you planning full on U.S. distribution? Like, how big do you want to go?
I honestly, I'm doing the exact same thing as with a band. Like, I want it to keep growing, but I don't know the exact route to get there.
Okay.
Like I've already had interest from like massive, like retail chains, like hundreds and hundreds of locations. But like I got that in the first like 9 months I was open, and like I need to be ready for something like that.
Yeah.
So I can't be in 500 locations until I have the growth capabilities and like confidence in my distribution. But like I'm doing phenomenal at getting like cool stuff. Like what's a good way to think about it? Like, think about making a huge national move as like signing to like a major label. If you don't already have like a solid fan base, a solid foot in the door with like control over making your own money, making your own like decisions, if you don't already know how to do that and you like make that move, you're going to be eaten alive by a major record label.
Sure.
Like, they're going to want to make all the decisions for you. They're going to want to do all this stuff. And, like, you won't have a leg to stand on. Like, major food distributors are the exact same way. Like, and, like, if I don't have major, like, enough cool things backing my company, even if I were to get national distribution, like, I don't have the ability to push it everywhere at once. Like, right now, like, I can literally walk the streets of Cincinnati, and like I have 20-something places just here that are selling a ton of it, and it's awesome and it's cool. But like say I get places in Hawaii or Alaska, like I'm not going to be able to go up there and like push it.
Yeah.
Or like even if I had it in LA, like I can't go up there once a month right now. Like my money goes into buying like crazy high grade tea. I clear my account just to grow the business like that. So like the exact same way as when you're just hoofing it in a van around the world or around the country, you're dumping your money into like gaining fans.
Sure.
I'm at that spot right now, and I'm trying to figure out the right, like, interesting big move to do next. Because I'm getting all these huge things. Like I just recently got a shout out from the musical Hamilton. Like,
okay.
they're drinking my stuff on the set. The Guinness Book of World Records loudest vocalist like ever can blow up glass, like a glass, by singing at it.
What? Okay.
He's been drinking my stuff. He just wrote an article talking about it. Like Justin Hawkins from The Darkness. He's a fan. He sent me stuff. He was like having to cancel shows from laryngitis, and then like had a bunch of my tea. It was like, so I'm getting all these things that like a tiny little weird super high end tea company should not be able to get. But the fact that I'm able to get that, like, is helping my company be that special, cool thing. That, like, you know, the goal is to be the best, like the best, coolest tea company, and let it grow from there, not be a big tea company. So, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. And then I would that's the type of business I would prefer to run. Like, obviously there's always that appeal of like, hey, let's open up a chain franchise thing and I'm a millionaire now. You know? But I mean, I'm at that point too, where just do something cool and
you're proud of.
Yeah. And you've been working on it too. I mean, you can't discredit the work you did with the band. Like, you guys got to a point where you were pretty big. I know I saw your video everywhere, and
we had like 5 years of 5 years of like eating ramen noodles and living in a van and being disgusting, and you know, just 300 plus shows, being in every city in the U.S. 4 times a year, like you know, maybe playing too much, but like that was our livelihood, so we just kept doing it. Yeah. And then the last 5 years was airplanes and buses and like being on TV shows and our music and video games and movies and all that kind of stuff. So, like, you know, towards the end of it, we'd literally done it. Like it was awesome. So.
Yeah, and it works in your advantage. Like, not just the notoriety the band gained, but just even yourself, the people you've met, the people that you networked with. Like, those are all contacts that you can continue to network with. Down if you wanted to make, if like, you know, take this for example. Like, we played shows in like a shitty coffee shop or something in Tallahassee. Like, you know, we paid our dues, and now, you know, we're talking. It's like those connections need to be maintained, and not just for business or to make your life better or business better, but just. It's important to connect, you know, humanity. Like, if you and I shared experiences, we should be in contact, like, down the road. Like, hey, man, so tell me more about, like, how's the business now a year or two later, you know what I mean? Like, and who knows where that road takes you, you know?
Yeah. I keep thinking about the musician lifestyle where, like, foods and drinks are your, like, exciting thing that you get. Because, like we said, you don't have any of the normal things that normal people get. You don't have your girlfriend. You have nothing. But like that one awesome restaurant you find, and it's something delicious and wonderful, and you're excited about that when that city gets booked again, or like that one craft brewery somewhere that you're excited to go visit, or that barcade in Denver, or that like, you know.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I like that. But I know some people don't. I mean, I talk to a lot of people, and I'll tell people about my life, like, or what excites me, and they're just like, oh, that's cool.
Well, tasting things. Like, who doesn't like tasting things?
Well, I know people that don't, man. My job literally has been before to, like, walk into a bar and be like, hey, try this beer. And they're like, no. Like, come on, dude, it's free beer. And they're like, nope, I'm good. I'm good with my Bud Light. I don't need to drink that. I had this one guy literally yell in my face in Homestead, Florida. I brought a 6-pack of different craft beers, and I pull out like a Dogfish 60-minute, and I'm like, so this is an IPA, you know, it's been brewed for 60, you know, they leave the hops in it for 60 minutes and during the brew cycle, and I'm explaining the whole process to this guy. And he turns to me and he looks like, I don't need none of your faggot beer here. And I looked at him, I'm like, are you serious right now?
That's hilarious.
Oh, Jesus. I'm like, all right, man. Just put it back in the 6-pack, walk out the door. My God.
Right?
I don't get it, man. It's like, and you know, I could have easily just gotten mad and punched him in the face, and like, you don't know who I am, dude. I could have turned on you right there.
That's like comedy, though.
Yeah. You can't write the shit that we've experienced. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I almost died plenty of times on the road. Like, you know, probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 times. Like winter. Like, you guys were south. So you didn't have to deal with that as much. But.
No, yeah. Yeah, with the snow, I couldn't even imagine, dude, living in that shitty van. So, no interest in music in the future for you? Or is this like now your life is tea?
No, you know me, dude. Like I'm honestly playing more now than I could with Foxy. Just when you're living, traveling, you don't have the time. Like your gear is on stage or in a trailer. Like I can't. I'm incapable of having a piano everywhere. So like right now, I'm probably playing better than I ever have. The only difference is I just don't exactly care if people hear it. So so yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm playing some blues around town every once in a while, like some like unusually heavy Delta blues, kind of like garagey. It's real fun. So I'm doing that regularly. I got a handful of projects. I'm probably gonna start releasing things because I have so many things I've written that I just haven't cared about people hearing it. But I'm starting to get so many that they're just gonna vanish if I don't start doing something.
Yeah.
But I'm not positive yet, like what direction I want to do with all my music stuff, because I don't want to just release things and not do anything to support them. Like there's millions of people that do that.
Yeah.
So, like I'm a solid 2.5 years off of like being on the road constantly. So I'm like kind of just I have experienced normal person life, so I might start dipping my toe back into the creative spotlight again. Well, but like my Tea world also is kind of covering a lot of that. Like,
yeah, and it also requires creativity as well. Like that's you expressing your creativity just in a different way.
Yeah,
that's awesome though, man. I mean, for me, it's been the same kind of. I keep working on little things here and there, and then the band itself, we wrote a whole album right before we took a break, and we never recorded it.
yeah.
We recorded it live at a warehouse. Sounds like shit. And I've been layering my like vocals that I record here at home on top of it just so that we have it, just so I don't forget it, because it's new songs that we have no documentation of. So I'm just laying these vocals on it to try, and eventually we'll have the whole album like in pre-pro, and then we can go somewhere and pay a bunch of money to try and get it recorded, or maybe use one of our connections. But it's one of those things that, are we going to support it afterwards if we release it? Are we going to go on tour? Is everyone ready to drop everything we're doing and go on tour right now? It's a little rough, man. Like we would need certain things in place. The people in the band at this point in our lives, we need certain things in place to be able to go on tour. Like, hey, we need to be able to pay our bills. We have families now. Like, this is different,
Which is why, like, living on the road's a young man's game. Really, like I can't imagine living in a van now. Like I'm sure if I was in that situation, I'd just be able to do it. But like when I was 17, eating ramen noodles every single day in order to stay alive, and like sleeping with no air conditioning in the middle of summer, like I can't imagine what my body would feel like, right? Like living on whatever food the venue might decide to give you by the end of the day, whatever fast food you could afford.
Showering in the Walmart bathrooms, in the sink, just like, all right.
Wet wipe yourself down while you're driving after a show.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts. It's nuts. I can't imagine. I mean, we slept on Walmart parking lot floors just because we needed to get out of the van because it was too hot, and I just sleep on the floor. I put my pillow down, and I can't do that now. I can barely sleep in a regular bed, man. I wake up and I'm like, oh, my back and my knees. From all those years of destroying myself for no reason,
Well, it's not for no reason. You do it because you have. Like you do it because you have to, and it makes like you got to do what you got to do for your art. And like if you, I have people constantly coming up to me like asking advice. Like, so I'm a musician. I want to do this. Like I have all these songs. How do I record? How do I tour? And like literally nobody ever tells young musicians how hard it is. Like, look, if you want to do this, like, if you want to have original music, like, you need to be willing to be poor. You need to be willing to, like, go out on a limb. You need to be willing for just your music to make you happy. and if just your music, creating it, doesn't make you happy, like, even if you get big, you will not be happy. Like size, like, amount of success should have relatively low, like correlation between your happy level if you are an artist. So
right.
So, like, if you're an artist and you're creating stuff and you need people, if you're needing it to get out there and, like, you feel like you need to perform it, that's when you have to do it. Like, you literally have to, like, it's a part of you. It's built into you. You have to do it, otherwise you're going to not be you. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know, when Foxy hit that point where I was 27 when we quit touring constantly. Like, I was 17 when we were starting.
Jesus.
And like we never had a time where we weren't either recording or touring. Like that entire time. So the entire concept of, like, a normal life, like a home,
right.
That never happened. So yeah, you know.
Are you enjoying that now, though, having that? Because I am. I'm enjoying officially having my own place.
Like, I have a garden. Like, I have time to meditate.
Yeah.
I'm going on, like, nice runs and then can shower right after it. like, you know, all the things that make you feel human, I have now. But, like, there is also, like, the element of, like, cheating. Like, you're kind of cheating if you're, like, when you're meeting just fans every day, like, everyone that comes out to a show is a fan, right? Mm-hmm. So, sure. like, and they're positive and happy and, like, having a good day because they're going out to a show to have a good time. Mm-hmm. So, like, normal life isn't like that. Like, you don't, everyone you meet isn't there to just have fun and that's it. But I guess a bar is kind of close to that. People, unless it's the other way, people go to a bar to forget their sorrows.
It's kind of half and half, I'd say.
Yeah.
Kind of half and half. But yeah, dude, I mean, I'm happy with my life, but I am getting that itch. I've been feeling the itch to get on stage and do something. It's been almost 2 years, too, for us. I mean, almost. It's you know, since then, I've done, like, little spots. I'll jump on stage with some friends and I'll sing something. But it's not the same. You know, it's not my music. So It's fun to do because you feel that rush of just doing and performing, but which is something else completely. I think it's two different things. Like, the urge to want to create something artistic, like music, for example, is different to me than the urge I get of performing. Like, performing that music is a different feeling than it is creating it.
Yeah. And making it's always, like, making it is the most satisfying. Like, you feel most proud of yourself. You feel like you've done a thing you're supposed to do. Like, it's built into you. But then, like, there is something, like, therapeutic and, like, cathartic about, like, performing. Like, it feels good. And, like, it's hard to feel bad if you just freaking nailed it in a song and everyone's going crazy. You know? And, like, you know, you can't be having a bad day after that.
Dude, you guys, our shows together, the shows that you guys would put on were some of the craziest shows I've ever been a part of, aside from, like, maybe Dillinger Escape Plan. Like, you guys would get wild on stage. And it was amazing. It was so much fun. Like, that, I don't know if you remember one of the warehouse shows we played where somebody ended up bringing in a fucking basketball rim.
I remember that.
It's just like they're crowd surfing this entire basketball thing over to you guys. I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? You know, and you're standing on the keyboard and, like, you know, playing with your toes and, like, it still sounds good, which blew my mind. You know, like man, you guys had something. You guys had something that I had not seen in a lot of the bands we played with. You know, a lot of bands we played with, I felt that put a lot of work into the creation of the music, but not a lot of work into the performance either. You know, it would just seem they would fall, or they're just so focused on making sure they're not fucking up the notes that they're just standing there on stage looking at their hands and not realizing that there's a crowd of people watching that, or don't care, which is fine. That's fine too.
Well, noise sometimes sounds good. Like, they're like I always try and explain, like, the messiness of what it looks like. Like, it all kind of has, like, a purpose, like a foot stomp on the low end of a piano. Literally, it takes up the place of, like, an 808. Like, like everyone feels it in their guts. Yeah. And, like, it looks cool, and it's a piano sound. And, like, like, just trying to think of, like, one of the more crazy stories. Like, one of my favorite ones of almost dying was we were on tour with, it was The Darkness at the Neptune Theater. Is that Seattle or Portland? It's somewhere up that direction.
I don't know if I've never been. I've actually never been in that area, which is shocking. But yeah.
We're like right over there. Come on.
It's only 8 hours. It's fine.
Yeah, like we were on tour with The Darkness, and there was like a massive stack, like the full PA stack, and I was set up on the left. The PA stack was on my left, the like going off the side of the stage, and like it was the end of the set, so disgusting, exhausted, been throwing my 100-pound keyboard around all over the stage and into the crowd and everything, and I have like 100 feet of cable, so I can do whatever I want, and like everything's like taped in, so nothing can go wrong, and so like the end of this set, it was like I think we had 21 just hits, like signifying the end of everything, just gone, just like. Yeah. Like, some of those I'm, like, jumping up on the piano. Some of them I'm flipping it upside down and smashing it into the ground. And, like, the last 10 of them, I just remember grabbing my keyboard, throwing it over my shoulder, and climbing the stack one-handed up. It was like, I don't know, 15, 20 feet tall.
Jesus.
So I climbed that. I'm playing the end of the song, like, up on the top, like hanging out over the crowd, and everyone's just screaming. There's just strobe lights going on in everyone's face. Everyone's looking at me horrified, like, ah! And all of a sudden, my cable gets stuck behind me, and I reach behind, and like like a power box got snagged on something. So I like grab it to try and loose it to keep being able to go crazy, and like. I just start getting electrocuted. Like, I am standing, balancing on top of a PA stack, holding a 100-pound keyboard, getting electrocuted, and slowly falling forward. Like, the like, tension on the cable is, like, keeping me from falling forward, but it's still, like, slowly happening. I'm just getting electrocuted. Everyone's looking up at me. The end of the song is happening. And, like, I'm just, like, looking back, like, ah! And just... by the grace of whatever God, just the weight of me falling forward towards my death pulled that off of me. Like it just broke the connection. I'm just standing up there, like lights are going crazy, crowd's going crazy. I'm just standing looking at everyone like I just almost died so bad. You have no idea. So the keyboard's still on my shoulder. I just throw it onto the ground or onto the PA under my feet, which remember is like 15, 20 feet above everybody. Wow. And I just like run and jump onto the balcony, climb the balcony, and run out through the back of the place. And like everyone up there is like, "Oh my God!" and, like screaming. As I'm leaving, I see the stage techs trying to figure out like how to get the keyboard off of the stack. And like everyone's just looking around like they're turning the house lights on, like flashlight up there, like who's going up there to get that? And so like everyone's like trying to talk to me, and I'm just like sweating, disgusting, and like almost dead. And I run outside and just like sit there by myself, like, oh my God, I just almost died. And like just hanging out, like don't talk to anybody. I don't even want to tell anybody that I almost died. Like what happened? Like let me just like relax for like I gotta calm down here.
Oh my God, man. No free hugs that night.
Yeah, well, it may have happened, but I wasn't mentally there.
Jeez, man, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. I've only been, like, shocked just very briefly, not, like, full-on electrocuted. Like, that's gotta suck.
Yeah, it just kept happening. That's the scary part. It's like, it was happening, and I was I was so high up that it was going to be electrocuted as I fell to my death.
Jesus, man.
So yeah, that's my favorite times I've almost died.
Well, I'm glad you did not die.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. A lot of the fans don't realize just some of the things that happen, and they think it's part of the show or something. They're just like, "Oh my god, that's so awesome!" Look at him run. It's like, yeah, he's running because he was shocked just now.
Or like blood, like stage blood. Like, do people think it's fake when you're bleeding everywhere?
Yeah, no, yeah. It is not stage blood, guys.
And like, you only have a few show outfits that you can bring on tour. You can't bleed on it.
Right. Dude, I remember at that time that I saw you with Hole, freaking Eric had like a jacket that was like a Foxy Shazam jacket. It was crazy. Like it had a basketball on it and like
basketball shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was like a superhero.
Yeah,
like,
straight
outfit.
out of Mad Max.
That was crazy, dude. How did dude, how do you get approached to open up for Hole? Like how did that happen?
We had the same management for a chunk of time.
Yeah,
and
okay.
Yeah, and like we just submitted for it. We drew well, so we kept getting decent open up gigs. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I remember just hearing that news and I'm like, no way. No way. Let's go check that out. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a fun tour. It went well. Like their crowd was super receptive, and like the shows went well. Like there were just a few like bizarre events that happened. Like if you want to look into Hole at the 930 Club review. I think it was on USA Today or US Today or something like that. Just 930 Club Hole, just read about it. I don't want to go into details, but there may have been like racist things that were said. There may have been like lots of drugs involved. I don't know. But our show went great. So
oh man. That is crazy. That's been happening a lot too. Like, look at what happened with Phil from Pantera. Like, came out, said some racist shit, and then he's like, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah,
I don't remember that. I mean, he does remember it, but it's just one of those things. He was drunk and being an idiot.
Yeah.
But it's just, man, I don't know if fans realize the kind of shit that you guys have to deal with, or with everyone that we have to deal with. And any advice to give young musicians? It's like, just work as hard as you can on your craft. Just do it.
If you need to play in front of people, if you need to be a musician, the best way to guarantee it to work, just work your ass off. Like, work every day at it. Like play as much as you possibly can. Like, if you're a band of people, like if you need to practice, you practice every possible day you can. Like Foxy, if we weren't on tour, we were practicing from 9 to 5, like every day, Monday through Friday. It was a job. You think about everything like a job. Like, you work harder than most jobs, and like per hour you put into it, it is very hard, very difficult. Think about, I regularly describe it as the greatest job in the world with an 8-hour work commute on either end of it. Like, you're not going to sleep. You're not going to have time for anything. You're like...
Most likely you're not going to have money in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, if playing makes you happy and like performing makes you happy, then money isn't important. But like, if you're phenomenal at it, you're going to make money. Like, right. There's no way around that one. So, yeah.
And I don't know if it was you guys, but somebody said, just always perform every show like it's the most important show of your life.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter because you don't know who's there. You don't know who's watching. You know what I mean?
I'm sure you guys did the shows for just the bartender, right? Like,
oh man, one of our first shows, I think, was maybe the fourth or fifth show. We played in Miami Beach at a club, and when we got in there was only 10 people. By the time we got to the second song, everyone had walked out, including the sound guy.
Yeah.
And it was band practice all of a sudden.
Literally no one.
Literally no one in the room. And we were like, fuck it, I guess it's band practice. So we played our set because who cares? Maybe during that time somebody walks in, you know. There were definitely shows where I kind of regret that I know that I put zero effort into. Like, I got to it and I was just frustrated. Like, situations with promoters or time scheduling, time slots. And, you know, I've had nights where I'm just not doing it, you know. And I'm doing it because we have to do it. But I regret those, man. Like, those are nights that I wish I had put more effort in, you know. Who cares? If shit was bad, who cares? That was my moment to let it go.
Yeah. It does get hard when it's like, all I want to do is play that perfect show and everything go right. But, like, you know, sometimes the world's up against you. But when you're on stage, that's your world. Like no matter what, just have fun out of it. And, like, do the best you can. I'm just remembering, if you ever played Soapbox Laundry Lounge, you remember where that was?
Oh, my God. That sounds familiar. I don't remember exactly where it was.
Like 3 stories. There's like multiple stages, laundromat on the bottom floor. But I just...
Yeah.
I remember showing up and we were like the only touring band and we'd go on at... They put us on stage at like 4 a.m. And we're like... we're like, is anyone... Like, well, what are we supposed to do at 4 a.m? Like, I think it was like way early. Like, but like thinking back, like playing huge like rock radio festivals, there's like thousands of people in the crowd. Like, stuff always went well, but like you barely remember when everything goes well. Like, you're at a big arena and like stuff's going great and the show's perfect and fans love you. If nothing crazy happens, you forget it. Like, it's the weird, stupid stuff that happens when you're like super poor or all the worst things could possibly go wrong. That's the funniest. Those are the best stories.
Exactly. And they're important to remember them, man. Remember always where you came from like that. Because, you know, if you do end up getting some kind of success in whatever you're doing, like, don't forget that shit sucked and that you earned your way there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Trying to see what else I got here.
We haven't talked about beer a whole lot.
Beer, yeah. Let's talk about beer.
Yeah.
I actually put it on the bottom. So tell me, like, what are some of your favorite breweries?
So, for in town, I'd have to say those 3 I already brought up. Like the Mad Tree, everything they put out's phenomenal. Rheingeist, they have a IPA called Truth. It's just perfect. It's just really freaking good. And then like Urban Artifact, like their massive cross section of weird sours. Like they're great at it. And you'll catch every once in a while something that's like super special out of them. So,
are you into stouts at all, or is it mostly like sour stuff for you?
I'm all over the place. Like I go in phases. Most likely, my favorite kind of beer is just a Belgian triple.
Okay.
So, like the Le Fin du Monde is one of my favorite beers ever.
It's a good one.
It's just like a masterpiece. Like if I sit down and drink that, I'm like, I can feel the heavens speaking to me.
Okay. What other one would you say that's your favorite beer then? Fin du Monde. Is there another one close?
That has to be my favorite. Like everything from them. Like what else they got? The Don de Deux and
Trois Pistoles.
Yeah. Like, all of those are real cool.
They make great beer.
Trying to think of anything else like really jumping out at me, but like listening to your other podcasts, it reminded me of the first time that I had like a craft beer, and it was Monster. It was the Brooklyn Monster Ale. Like, from Brooklyn
Brewing.
Yeah, Brooklyn Monster Ale, and like I remember that moment because I had only had bad beer before that, and like I just felt like my pupils dilated, and I was like, oh my god, there's a whole other world out there.
For sure. Fin du Monde is actually one of those first ones for me too. I had it in Orlando at a show that we were playing. They had it at the bar, and I took a sip. I'm like, what? What is happening?
Yeah.
And it's like 9% too, so I'm like, oh, I'll have 3 or 4, and it's just
Yeah. Well, when a place doesn't warn you, like, oh yeah, I got a pretty solid. Do you ever play the Machine Shop, Flint, Michigan?
No, never played it, but I have heard of it. Yeah.
Okay, so the Machine Shop is pretty classic place. Like everything just looks like metal machinery place. Just big tough biker guys that are the most polite, wonderful people on the planet. Right. But we were like, I can't remember who we were out with, or if it was like a one-off date of a big support tour or what. But we played the Machine Shop. Show was awesome, like sold out, crazy, wild show. And like, just they're like, after getting cleaned up a little bit and feeling less gross, get my life back together and like rolling. And I just asked the bartender, what do they have that's local? And he was like, oh, we have these 5. And so it was one, I can't even remember the name of the brewery, but it's Flint, Michigan, local. I could just, all of this makes sense at the end.
Okay.
So like, I tell them, like, just give me one of each of them. Like, I'll finish one and give me the next one down the line. Tell me a little bit about them. And so, like, they were all delicious. They were wonderful, and just hanging out, talking with, like, fans and friends and, like, goofing around. And, like, it has to be 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Like, it's super late. And, like, the bar is everyone's just hanging out, drinking, goofing around. And, like, I just remember getting to the end of the line and just like asking him more about it. Like, these were great. Like, what was it? So he was like, by the way, you do know you drank like 5 of those in like an hour, and each of those are over 10% alcohol. And like, so like, all of a sudden, as soon as he says that, like, I'm like finishing the last of it. Like, I get tunnel vision, like, boom. like everything just goes out of focus except for his face. Like 10%. Oh, like, oh God, I'm in trouble.
Oh yeah.
So like across the street, there's some giant weird like Museum of the Strange mall thing. And there's like Paul Bunyan with a huge axe and like a helicopter boat and like just super weird stuff. And like, so like people are wandering, like hanging out in the bar and in the parking lot. And I'm like, I can't be around people. I know what's about to happen, right? So I just wandered across the street into this parking lot of this Mall of the Weird. And there's like a Subway sandwich shop in the front. I just laid down in the grass and looked up at the stars. I was like, I gotta not be around people for a while. And just like, so it occurred to me, like, if you're in Flint, Michigan, and you're making beer, like, everyone just wants to get the job done as fast as possible. Nobody has jobs. Nobody has money. Just the most amount of alcohol, least amount of work to get drunk humanly possible. Just seems like it makes sense. So,
right.
But yeah, like, the end of that night was mostly a blur and me just trying to keep my life together and getting back to the bus before we were leaving. So... But yeah, that was
yeah. No, that's definitely something that bartenders need to do more of, man. Like, if you, like, after the second one, be like, by the way, that's 10%.
Yeah.
You're 2 in now, so you're make a real choice here. Yeah, man. I've had nights like that where usually it happens at a show. Especially if I'm not playing, or if I'm playing, I try to control myself a little bit. But if I'm not playing and I'm just supporting friends, it's very easy for me to just start popping beers because I'll always bring a cooler to the show, and then I'll be just full. And most of them are high percentage, 7 and up. So we'll start drinking, and it's very easy for me to like. By the time the band goes on, I'm standing side stage, and then that's when it hits me, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, everything is moving very slowly, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to. And then people are like yelling in my ear because friends are also standing next to me, like, this is awesome, or whatever. And I'm just like, yep.
What? Huh? Where are we?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back upstairs. It's very easy, man.
But it gets kind of hard though too, because like if if you like really appreciate when something tastes good and you like care about it and it genuinely makes you happy, you want to drink more of it. Like,
yeah, how do you stop? Like, oh, this is great, but nope, just one or two. I'm like, no, man.
Let me crack into these 8 different beers and have 2 sips of each of them to experience like a nice, well-rounded palate.
I do that sometimes. It depends on how nerdy the person is that I'm meeting up with. Like for Dave. Yeah. Dave Whitty from Municipal Waste is one that, like, he and I will sit there and just, like, all right, little samples. Everybody gets to try a little bit because they are, like, 18% beers. And, like, bourbon barrel aged this, and there's only 300 bottles in the whole world. So, yeah, we're not gonna chug it. We'll, like, sit there. I'll bring glassware, which is super cheesy. I'll put I have these little tiny, like, snifters that I cover in, like, a koozie. I put them in my book bag, and that's how we drink at shows. It's just so nerdy, man, and I gotta find that. I gotta find a balance between nerding out completely over it and like, oh my god, I could taste the, how many days this has been in the barrel and like all that shit or just enjoying a beer, Yeah. I don't know. It's becoming more towards I want to just enjoy a clean beer. Than taking
a couple wonderful beers rather than just a lot of whatever beers. Yeah.
Right. Like quality over quantity. It's important. Yeah. In terms of breweries, so anything outside of your area?
Nothing's jumping out at me right now. I'm sure as soon as we finish this, I'm going to get reminded of something.
Do you guys have any of the hazy IPAs over there? That's such a craze out here right now.
Who makes it?
Oh no, everyone.
Hazy, like a cloudy looking IPA.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I could check. We have a. I think it's the largest liquor and beer, store in America, right across the river in Kentucky. So they have thousands and thousands of different kinds of beers there. So I should just run over there and check it out.
Do it. I mean, who knows what you'll find there, man. There's the hazy IPA craze is something that it's just taken over. It started in New England, like Vermont and all that, and now it's made its way to California, and now it's everywhere. Like Texas is making hazy IPAs, and I like them. They're okay, but they're the most expensive / easiest beer to make. And everyone, like all the breweries are like, wait a minute, people are paying this money for that beer. I could make that beer tomorrow. And they're like, yeah. So now everyone's doing it. There's nothing special about it anymore,
I'll ask a few brewer friends, see if they have that on the books.
God, it's just some brewers are very adamant about not doing it. They're like, fuck a hazy IPA. That's not it doesn't require any skill. And it really is. I mean, it's just easy to make, and you're just spending a ton of money on extra hops. Like that's really all you're doing.
Really.
But it's a craze, and people are paying for it, man. They're paying like $24 a 4-pack, like insane amounts of money that I don't understand. I just want to enjoy beer again the way I used to.
Not have to think about it so much.
Oh no, it's crazy. The lines out here. People line up hours in advance to buy a 4-pack of cans for way too much money that they're probably not even going to drink. They'll usually drink one, and then they'll
sell the rest.
No, they'll trade the rest of them out or sell them. Yeah, they'll sell them online, and it's nuts, man. Just fucking drink a beer. Oh, dude. Anyway, we are at the hour and 5-minute mark.
Cool.
I want to thank you for talking to me. It's been a while, dude. We need to stay in touch.
Yeah. I'll probably find a music or tea related reason to come out your direction soon.
Yeah, let me know. Hit me up anytime. If you need rides around so you don't have to Uber and waste money, whatever it is you need, I'm here for you.
Okay.
And so no music coming up from you yet. Maybe at some point, projects or something.
Yeah, pretty much everybody else in Foxy, as soon as we quit, like, grinding, everybody else started another project, and I started a tea company. So they're all out on the road constantly and working on stuff. Eric just released new music.
That stuff is great.
Everybody's new music's great, and like And like I said earlier, I just treat this tea company like a band. And yeah, I'm assuming you got a whole lot of like music folk listening. I got one tea that's called Siren. It's made for vocalists and like people that are like living on the road. Like the best way I put it, it's like just a very more powerful version of like throat coat. It's called Siren. It's like throat health. It's real gingery. If you like spiciness, that's like the special thing for musicians right now.
I'd love to try that just because I do this a lot. I talk a lot, and then when I'm not doing this talking, I'm in the studio just tracking vocals for stuff. I've been just doing random things that like, today I'm in the mood to cover a Radiohead song, so I'll just do that. So but yeah, I'd love to try that. Wendigo Tea, Google it. Social media for Wendigo Tea at all?
Just everything is Wendigo Tea, Wendigo. And if you want to just search for stuff, it's all like cryptid, monster, and beast themed. So like Yeti Tea, or Bigfoot Tea. You can find me super easy. My name's Sky White. Just hit me up anytime if you have tea questions or anything like that. So.
Very cool, very cool. And you brought up Eric, dude. It's so crazy to see where he's gone. Like, I saw him on MTV, and I was like, "Excuse me, what?
Yeah.
What is he doing with Macklemore again?" Damn. I know that's always what he's wanted, man. He's achieving that dream he's wanted. So
yeah, he's phenomenal at the like walk the line of everyone thinking you're like it's like big professional famous musician versus like, I am a totally crazy person. So like people like the new stuff. It's wonderful, and it's like super clean, crisp, phenomenal songwriting. Like, he's awesome at that, and like I just know there's something super bizarre waiting. Like I just know how the guy works. It's something strange is in the works. So
very cool, man. All right, so yeah, look for Wendigo Teas, and I guess keep your fingers crossed if you want to hear music from Sky.
You'll hear stuff sometime soon.
I'm looking forward to it, dude. You're one of the best keyboardists I've ever met, and performers as well. So it would be exciting to see you do music again.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. All right, brother. Well, thanks for talking. And cheers.
Hey, talk to you in a bit, dude.
I picked it up, and the name Lisa was carved in it. 9 years later, I watch my only daughter walk beautifully down the aisle as she turns to me and says the 6 words I'll remember for the rest of my life.
E, ooh, ah, biggity, biggity, boo! Bow, shake, slow! Biggity, biggity, boo! Bow, shake, slow! Biggity, biggity, boo! Biggity, biggity, boo! Bow, shake, slow! Biggity, biggity, boo! Bow, shake, slow! Biggity, biggity, boo! Biggity, biggity, boo!